Republican Senator Lindsey Graham appeared on Meet the Press this weekend with host Kristen Welker. And Lindsey Graham basically immediately went totally off the rails when Welker confronted him with quotes from people, generals, who actually served in Donald Trump's administration. Lindsey Graham did not like that one bit, especially when Welker mentioned that in Bob Woodward's new book, you had General Mark Milley, who again served with Trump in his own administration, who referred to Donald Trump as a total fascist, a fascist to the core. And at that point, Welker then said, "Why shouldn't voters trust Donald Trump's top general on this, Senator?" Basically saying, hey, the people who worked for him, including, of course, General John Kelly, who she also brought up, they think he's a fascist. Why should we listen to Trump instead of these generals who are telling us he's a fascist? And Lindsey Graham said, quote, "You know what I fear? I fear 4 more years of Biden-Harris policy. To General Milley, you have a right to your opinion, but I don't fear Donald Trump. If you want the world to stay on fire, vote for Kamala Harris." Because that's totally an answer to the question, right? Like, hey, these people say he's a fascist. Why shouldn't we listen to them? And he says, "I'm afraid of Kamala Harris. Oh, God. Oh, dear." Not an answer, but it continues to get worse. But Senator, you've known General Milley for years. You've said you have deep admiration and total confidence. John Kelly, his former chief of staff, has said that former President Trump was telling him to go after his opponent repeatedly. Here he was always telling me that we need to use the FBI and the IRS to go after people. And then Graham snapped at that point and he said, "These are Democratic talking points. It was their decision to stop energy production, making us more energy independent." He misspoke. He meant to say more energy dependent, but he said more energy independent, which is actually the truth. And then, of course, Welker corrected him and said, "Hey, bud, we're actually producing more energy on American soil today than at any point in history." And it was at that point that Graham really snapped. He didn't like being corrected. He didn't like being told that he was a liar. So this happened. Take a look.
No, I think these generals are wrong.
They worked for Donald Trump.
You know what? I know,
they worked for former President Trump. These are former Trump administration
to every Republican
officials
supporting her. What the hell are you doing? You're supporting the most radical nominee in the history of American politics. The Green New Deal, Medicare for all. She was the last person in the room before Biden decided to withdraw from Afghanistan. She was the border czar. She cast the tie-breaking vote for the Inflation Reduction Act that gives you high prices. What are you doing? You're trying to convince me that Donald Trump's rhetoric is the danger to this country. The danger to this country is the policies of Biden and Harris. Her fingerprints are all over this disaster, and I can't take 4 more years of this crap.
All right.
When you support her, you're supporting 4 more years of garbage politics.
Senator, we got.
Yes, that is definitely a normal response from a totally normal, not unhinged individual, right? You're sitting there screaming at her when all she's doing is trying to ask you questions. Like, she's trying to point out what the people who worked with Donald Trump said. She's calling you out when, of course, you're pushing bogus talking points. And your response to that is to just go totally insane. Isn't it great, by the way, folks, that this is where our politics has landed? That when a politician gets called out or even asked a tough question, they simply decide to attack the interviewer. Right? You just scream at them, you yell your talking points, speaking over them, interrupting them as they're trying to get you back on track, maybe even calm you down. But this is where we're at. This is politics today. This is how it works. And it's because of little bitty lapdogs like Lindsey Graham who know, like Lindsey Graham knows this is the guy that put out the tweet that said, if we nominate Donald Trump, we will get crushed and we will deserve it. He knew then. And he knows now. He is pretending that Donald Trump is some great, leader and that the Democrats are some horrible, hell-bent, evil people. Lindsey Graham knows that that's not true, but he has to pretend it's true because he wants to stay on Donald Trump's good side. Now, after the election, if Donald Trump loses, we'll see a very different Lindsey Graham come out there. He'll talk about how Donald Trump screwed up here and he screwed up there, and that may be what cost him. But for now, and up until the election, Lindsey Graham is going to go out there screaming his little lungs out about how much he loves Donald Trump and how much he just hates those dastardly Democrats. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.